Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name's Lucy and today I'm running through quite a few beauty products that I no longer buy. So quick little disclaimer, this is just stuff that I personally don't think that is worth me buying anymore. This is based on my personal preferences and the way that I like to look in my skin types, etc. So I understand that this is different for everyone, and this video is just a little bit of fun really, not meaning to shame anyone who uses any of these products essentially. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna go straight in. So first and foremost, I've got a little list. Harsh cleansers. So I would use really stripping cleansers back in the day. I think we all kind of use like St. Ives apricot scrub, like the Neutrogena grapefruit wash thing. And I think we were all of the opinion that if it's hurting, if it's burning, it's working. No, it's not. It's just ruining your moisture barrier, unfortunately. So that's something I don't buy anymore. I just buy like the most basic unsexy cleanser ever. So one of my personal favorites, Cetaphil Gentle Skin Cleanser. I've been through so many of these, like I can't even count. I have like a bag of empties and there's at least like 3 of these in there. I just get through them. I know some people use this as body wash as well when they have like super sensitive skin and like eczema prone skin. Personally just use this on my face. It's great. It doesn't foam, it doesn't have any sort of actives in there, has loads of like simple ingredients, and it's dermatologist recommended as well, which is really great. I've been using this for years. So harsh cleansers I would class as stuff that's got like loads of foaming agents in there, something that's really stripping. So I have used some recently that I'm like, this is just a bit too stripping for my skin and my skin doesn't like it. I know some people who have more oily skin could probably tolerate a lot more than me, but personally I cannot. So I just don't buy anything that's harsh anymore. I pretty much just buy this cleanser for like my second cleanse. And I think, yeah, I'm going to continue to do so. I also really like the Roche-Posay cleanser as well, the Tolérane one. I think that's really similar. It foams up a little bit more than this one, but they're kind of both like a very like conditioner-y kind of feel, if you know what I mean. If you've used this product, you know what I mean. It does have a foaming version, which I think would be good for people who have like more oily skin and want that, but personally, if it foams, it's probably a no from me. I want something super gentle because my skin can't hack it. Which leads me on to the next thing, which is harsh exfoliators. Again, there's multiple products that have gone viral over the years that are very harsh exfoliators. So we're talking like that, like red, what was that, like that red serum you could get from The Ordinary. I actually never had that, but I'm glad I didn't, because I think that would have just ruined my skin entirely. The things that have really high levels of acid in and just overusing them. So again, like the Ordinary glycolic acid that comes in like a big bottle. Again, that is really good, and I know a lot of people still really like that, but personally I'm not for something really harsh. I instead just use really gentle products. I've actually just recently picked this up and, well, not picked it up, recently added this into my routine. So this is the Anua Azelaic Acid. This is a really gentle exfoliator and it's good for sensitive skin. And then also I use the Beauty of Joseon Retinol Eye Cream, but I use this all over my face. I'm gonna try and maybe try like a little bit more of a stronger retinol, but for now this is good. So I've kind of just stepped away from really strong acids because there was a point in my time, there was a point in my teens when I used really strong acids. So I used to use like the exfoliating cleansing pads, but I used to overuse them entirely as well. I'd use them like every day because I found that my skin looked incredible after I just used them. And just, yeah, didn't use them as intended. So yes, I no longer buy harsh exfoliators, but this is what I buy instead, something a lot more gentle. And again, I don't think you're meant to be using harsh exfoliators with retinol anyways. Okay, another one. This is really niche and this is probably going to annoy a lot of people. Primers. I don't buy primers anymore. I have, again, very sensitive skin and I like wearing makeup, but I found that wearing primers on top of my skincare routine, because I have a very nice skincare routine that I'm really happy with, I found that putting a primer on top doesn't often add anything. either it adds nothing at all, I'm like, I don't really like, this hasn't really done anything, I don't really see the point in me having bought this, or it will kind of like make my makeup pale because I put too many layers on. So that does include things like mattifying primers. It's not really my thing. I will sometimes use like an illuminator or something like that maybe, but again, I use that so rarely because I kind of just use my SPF as my primer. So this is the Beauty of Joseon Really Sun SPF, and it kind of just, it's like a 2-in-1 sort of. It goes really well underneath makeup, so I don't have the use for primer anymore, and it's kind of, yeah, something that I don't really use. In terms of making your makeup last longer, I don't notice that primer has any sort of difference. I remember back in 2016, the idea of not using a primer before your foundation, ooh, that was absolute blasphemy. But now it's just an unnecessary step for me personally. I would much rather just use my SPF or a moisturiser if it's the evening. And then to make my makeup last longer, if I needed to, I'll use a setting spray. So I think that they actually do help your makeup last longer when primer doesn't seem to do that. Another one that I think is going to be a little bit controversial, highlighters. I don't buy highlighters anymore, especially powder highlighters. I have them because I bought them in the past and I'm kind of just using them up. I don't use powder highlighter. I don't really use highlighter full stop because I wear kind of like glowy makeup anyways, that I don't really see the need. Sometimes I use the Iconic London drops, but it's not something I purchase myself, and they are great, but it's not something I see myself repurchasing unless I'm, you know, my opinion really changes. So for powder highlight, I tend to just use that in my inner corners. It's really useful for that, and because I have quite a few in my collection, because, you know, I am a survivor of highlighter blindness, I thought I can use it up. It's not something I use. I don't need to be using the best highlighter on the market, the new launch of highlighter on the market. So it's not a product they're all kind of the same thing, to be honest. Like, yes, there's different colors, yes, there's different formulas, but in my opinion, it's not a product I use, and it's not something I buy anymore. So if I do end up using it, again, it's because I'm trying to use it up, because I don't think it's good to just throw away products. I think it's better to use it up. So leading on from that, powder blush and powder bronzer. Again, I have spoken about liking certain powder blushes. So, for example, Willa from Benefit, really like that. And I really like the Huda bronzer. But unfortunately, it's not something I use on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes if I'm doing a full glam and I want to look really good in photos and I want it to stay on like day and night, and I know it's going to be on, I will use powder on top of the cream just to enhance that longevity. But again, I find that my cream products are quite long wearing anyways, that on a day-to-day basis I don't need to do that. It's literally only for photos and for just keeping it on for even longer, and not just keeping it on, like keeping it on and perfect for longer. And because I have quite a few that I already like, it's not really something that I need to go out and buy. So I've got this little duo, which I very kindly got as a gift for Christmas. And yes, it's not really something, not a launch that I'm interested in, to be honest. When I see new powder blushes be released, I'm like, I'm not really too interested. I've got powder blushes that I already like. I very infrequently use them. It's not really. That being said, this did feature in one of my favorites videos recently. But again, if I use this up, I probably wouldn't rush to repurchase it. I'm enjoying it while it's here, but it's not something that I would run out and, you know, I have to drop everything to go pick up a powder blush, because I'd rather just wear a cream. I really do like blush, but cream blush is very much my jam instead. So that's why it just doesn't really make sense for me to purchase those items anymore. This one is incredibly niche. Orange blush. I know a lot of people really suit orange blush. However, I'm unfortunately not one of those people. I have got very neutral undertones. I wear a soft summer palette. I'm very specific about the colours that I wear. And I don't think the orange blush suits me very much. And it doesn't fit into what I wear. It doesn't look very natural on me. And that's not my style in terms of makeup. I like my makeup to look relatively natural, especially the skin makeup. I want that to look very natural. So I'm always, not always, but if I'm in the lookout for new blushes, it will always be the more natural looking blushes rather than the more bright blushes. But that is just my personal opinion. I've seen so many people really suit these orange tone blushes, which is why it hits me right here, because I'm like, I really want to wear it. Like, it is so pretty and it looks so gorgeous on a lot of people. It looks very pretty and summery and fresh, but on me it does just look orange, unfortunately, and it doesn't match a lot of the things I wear in my makeup style. So for that reason, it's not something that I would personally purchase. I've gone through phases of liking it as a teen as a young teen, and it's kind of something that I'm not really too interested in purchasing. Whenever I see blush launches that come out, if there's an orange blush in there, I'm like, no. But again, I'm very particular about my colours. If there's like a pinky blush that pulls a little bit too orange, it's a no from me, unfortunately, just because I don't find it looks that natural and that nice on me particularly. But again, on so many other people, it looks incredible, which is what always kind of makes me, which has kind of lured me in the past, because I would think that looks incredible on so many people. I should buy that. Because it looks good on someone else doesn't necessarily mean that it'll look good on you. So I do understand that you don't always need to wear colours that suit you. You can just wear colours that you like, and that's absolutely fine. I've seen so many people do that and it looks gorgeous on them, but me personally, that's not the way that I like to wear my makeup and the way I like to dress. Again, no shade towards anyone who does, but that's my personal opinion. Another very controversial one, so eyebrow products, but specifically stuff like eyebrow pencils, eyebrow pens, like eyebrow powder, that sort of thing. Do I probably need to use those products? Probably. I've got quite thin-ish eyebrows naturally, and I don't think it looks that good when I fill them in too much. I prefer to have my makeup looking a little bit more natural. I've done the whole eyebrow blindness thing and I very much stepped away from that. It's not really my thing. I've got a couple of brow pencils that I do like, but if I ran out of them, I probably wouldn't go out of my way to repurchase. They're kind of just for special occasions where I think I need my makeup to look super perfect. I'm not really the kind of, I don't need my makeup to look super perfect on a day-to-day basis. I want it to just look very natural. And so for my eyebrows, I literally just use a tinted eyebrow gel sometimes if I need a little bit of colour, or just mainly a clear brow gel. So I actually just tint my eyebrows instead, which I prefer that. It's very low maintenance. Well, it's high maintenance to be low maintenance, and that's just my personal preference. Another one, it's a little bit controversial, eyeshadows. I don't really buy eyeshadows anymore. That is because I kind of just wear this sort of colour anyways. I will usually just use a bronzer on my eyelids if I wear a little bit of eyeshadow. Because I don't think I suit that dramatic of an eye look, I kind of just do very like neutral light makeup. And because I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes already, it's not something that I go out to buy, because I probably already have it, to be honest. I'm not interested in every single new launch of eyeshadow palettes. Like, yes, there's always, if there's a little quad that looks good, I might be tempted, but I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes to use up. So for the meantime, that's not really something I would personally buy. I would just rather use my bronzer in my crease and then like just a random eyeshadow palette that I already have. So leading on from that, this is very general, but every single new launch, I used to be very trend focused with my beauty and makeup. The minute something got released, I thought, oh my goodness, I can't wait to try this. Even though it might be a product that's not really something that I would usually buy, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to try this new product just because it's new and out there. I kind of refine that a lot more. I don't go for every single product that comes out. I just think, okay, well, if a brand comes out with a new powder blush, that it might be a brand I absolutely love, but I'm still like, it's not really a product I would buy, so I am going to skip this launch. However, if they come out with a cream blush that is in a colour that I like, I might consider. So I very much think a lot more critically about new launches instead of just going out and purchasing it. And then also I might have a look and see what I'm running out of as well before I purchase it. Like sometimes launches come out at the right time, you think, oh, excellent, there's a new Barra serum that's come out. That's a product I already use. I've actually run out of my previous one, so let's give that a go. Sometimes it is very convenient, but I think a lot more critically about the launches that I do go for nowadays rather than every single one. And last but not least, moisturizers with active ingredients in them. So I'm talking moisturizers that have stuff like AHA, retinols, that might have BHA in, etc. I don't use those sorts of products because, again, if I want to use that product, I'll not use it that frequently. I will use it a couple of nights a week, maybe probably even one, such as the Anua azelaic acid. And that way you can limit the use that you use rather than putting it on every single night and kind of flaring your skin up. Again, some people use like a retinol face cream every single night and that really works for them. That's amazing. Personally, I prefer to just have more control and just use a very basic moisturizer so that if my skin's not liking me, I can kind of just go, you know what, actives are gone for the week, let's just use basic products because my skin is hating me right now. So the kind of moisturizers I use are super basic and a little bit boring, but you know what, like that's fine. Like this is one of the moisturizers I use. This is a huge pot. This is the Cetaphil moisturizing cream. It's not a sexy product. It looks like I've not got a lot left, and I haven't in comparison to this massive pot, but I've got loads and loads left. Oh, that cat's really dirty. But I found that just using a very gentle moisturizer really helps my skin, and I think that's really elevated my skin. So I think that is everything. These are all the products that I no longer buy. So would that, may all these change in the future? Perhaps, but for the moment, these are products that I no longer purchase. If you've got this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you could like and subscribe, that would be amazing. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.